welcome to the Bedford Area Chamber of Commerce Chamber Vibes podcast. I do not have my sidekick with me today, so it's going to be a little bit quieter than usual, but we do have a guest as usual. So I'm just going to go through a couple events that we have coming up, and then we'll get to the interview portion of the show. So we've been talking about Taste of Bedford for several weeks now. It is our business expo and community showcase happening on August 17th at the Bedford YMCA. We still have registration open for this event until August 3rd, and we have different pricing. If you are a nonprofit and you're thinking you might not be able to attend this, go and check the website and see the different pricing, because we really wanted to open this up to where nonprofits and anyone who wanted to participate would be able to. So we are going to start the day early. Exhibitors are going to start setting up at about 10 o'clock, and we'll do introductions, we'll do some exhibitor networking, lunch, and then it'll open to the public at 3 o'clock. From 3 to 5, the public can walk through, no charge, and just talk to the businesses and see what's going on. At 5 o'clock, our True Taste portion begins, and that's where we will have restaurants and breweries and wineries set up, and they are going to be giving out some samples. The entry fee will go to $5 at 5 o'clock that night, and then we'll wrap up at 7. So again, that is on August 17th at the Bedford YMCA, and the tickets for exhibitor registration are available until August 3rd. If you are just wanting to walk through the event, you don't need to RSVP or get a ticket or anything like that ahead of time. Our next signature event after the Taste of Bedford is our annual gala that is going to be on Thursday, September 14th this year, and we're going back to Cedar Oaks Farm. It was really beautiful last year, so we're very excited to go back there again this year. The registration just opened on the website, so you can register as an individual or you can get a table with 8 seats, and we'll have dinner, a silent auction, bar, 50/50 raffle. Blackwater Creek Catering will be catering for that evening, and we will also be announcing the winners of our Excellence in Business Awards for the first time. So we got all the nominations in on Sunday, so thank you to everyone who sent in a nomination. We are currently in the selection process, and we're very excited to be able to announce the winners for the first time at our annual gala on September 14th. If you have any questions about upcoming chamber events, the best place to go is our website, bedfordareachamber.com. You can click the News and Events tab and hit Chamber Events, and you can see our full calendar of events. Or you can give us a call at the office. It's 540-586-9401. Normally, when we have Foster here, the event talk lasts longer because Foster gets so passionate. she just goes on and on. So, but it's
I'll
great.
have to be your sidekick today.
You are. So we have Pam Bailey, who is the Director of Economic Development for Bedford County, with us this morning. Good morning,
Good
Pam.
morning.
Thank you for joining us. We were talking about earlier that you've done the podcast before, but it's been a little while.
It's been a while, yes. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, we're excited to have you back. We were at a networking event a few weeks ago, and Robert was like, hey, if you ever want me to come on the podcast, just let me know. And I was like, well, we're full for the rest of the year, but I'll let you know if we have
You could have joined me this morning. That would have been fun.
So, but either way, we're glad to have someone from the county be able to join us and just talk a little bit about what's going on, especially the economic development office itself. I feel like it seems self-explanatory for people who already know what it is, but for people who don't know what it is, it could be a little bit confusing. All right, so Foster's favorite question to ask when we start interviews is just for our guests to tell us a little bit about yourself and your background. So can you do that for us?
Well, I guess I can go into all that.
Okay.
So my name is Pam Bailey, and I moved to Virginia back in the 90s from North Carolina, and I have been in the Bedford community for about 20 years, and I love it. It's home. My background is actually in marketing. So
I did not know that.
Yeah. I've worked for a marketing firm in Lynchburg for about 12 years. Before that, I was with Ericsson and United Way.
Okay.
So I have a kind of a diverse background in all kinds of business to business and business to consumer and, nonprofit. So it kind of all culminated when the job opened up to be marketing for Bedford County Economic Development. And then when my predecessor, Tracy Belito, left, I got the job as director.
Well, that is awesome. Yeah. So, will you tell us a little bit about what economic development is and what you do?
Sure. So a lot of times when you say economic development, everyone's like, you don't know what that is, and it can be a broad range of anything. But for us in my office, what we primarily focus on with economic development is more business and industry. It's not as much the retail and the small business side of things, but we do support them in that we've got a partnership with the chamber, we've got a partnership with the Small Business Development Center, and so we've got other avenues that can help some of those organizations. In terms of what I do is the biggest part of my job is really business retention and expansion. So when you look at the existing businesses that you have in a community, you want to keep them, right? So it's really important that we support those industries with whatever issues they may have. I get so many random phone calls like, can you help me with this or can you help me with that? But a big part of my job is just staying in touch with the existing businesses that we have and trying to bring in new business to the area.
Yeah, that is awesome. I'm sure that keeps you busy, not
does.
only trying to keep who we already have here, but just constantly trying to attract new businesses and make our community flourish and, set up for longevity.
Absolutely, because what our big thing is, you've got to have good jobs, quality jobs, high-paying jobs, and if you have these, larger industries here, it helps support the smaller industry and the small business because, tourism is our number one industry in Bedford County is agriculture. Number 2 is tourism. Number 3 is manufacturing. So that's a big broad breadth of of industry. But we're sort of this big ecosystem. When Bedford County is the 5th largest county in Virginia. And we're about 800 square miles. Well, that's a lot. You got everything from Big Island to Smith Mountain Lake. Georgia Pacific at the top. Huge. They're our largest employer outside of as private industry for manufacturing, and then down to Smith Mountain Lake and think of all the jobs and industry that's created around tourism. So it's just all the corners.
Yes, wide array.
Yes.
Will you tell us a little bit of an overview of the EDA as well and the 3 business parks that we have in the county?
Yeah, so we have an economic development authority. We've got 7 members of that. They're all appointed by the Board of Supervisors, and they own 3 business parks in the county. So we've got the New London Business and Technology Center in Forest. We have the Bedford Center for Business here in Bedford, and then we have the Montvale Center for Commerce, which is sort of 2 parks. They're kind of divided by Highway 460. So the EDA owns those 3 parks, and my job is to market those 3 parks and promote them and tell people all about them. So New London is our premier park. We've got a lot of interest over there. We've got a lot going on in that park, a lot of business interest in those parcels that we have. They are not all subdivided, so when you look at a map, and if anybody wants to go to bedfordeconomicdevelopment.com, you'll see that they're all on our website. And we also have a shell building out there that we built several years ago. Well, I guess just a few years ago. Belvac is in there now, and Simplematic is in that park. There is a building for sale in there that is Nanotouch. Nanotouch is no longer in business. That's about a 10,000 square foot building that is for sale by the owner. The EDA does not own that building.
Okay.
And then we've got a pad ready site in that park where we have a grant right now with the Virginia Business Ready Sites program to look at phase 2 of that park. So if you're familiar at all with New London, there's everybody knows what disc golf is, right? So it's got the World Championship disc golf course in there. Next year, I think the championship is coming to Virginia. It is coming to Lynchburg, and it's all the courses are actually in Bedford County. So between New London and Ivy Hill. So that'll be happening next year. That's where the tourism part. So it all kind of starts colliding,
yes,
right?
it does.
So anyway, we're looking at phase 2, what we could possibly do out there. There are bike trails all through that park, so that's kind of the premier. Everybody sort of wants to be there. It's it's right on 460, close to Lynchburg. On the opposite end of the county, we've got Montvale. We've got 2 parcels left in the Montvale Center for Commerce that is set up for, like I said, business and industry to come in more on the manufacturing side of that. That's about 18 acres on that side. On the south side of 460, opposite of the north side of the Commerce Park, is the other side, and that can be more for commercial use. And there's a park right there. So there's nothing in there right now. There are four parcels there, and those are all available for sale. And it's close to Montvale Elementary School. If you want to kind of get a sense of that, it's on the same side as Montvale Elementary. And then right here in the heart of Bedford, we have the Bedford Center for Business, and we've got a pad ready site out there. We've had a lot of interest in this park as well, and so if anybody has any need for it or wants to explore more, they can certainly give me a call.
Well, that sounds awesome. And I know I've heard you talk just, over time with you being on our board and just being around you at different times, the length of the process of getting a new business here. Not necessarily, a small retail shop or something that they're just looking for a building, but these sometimes are big companies that are coming from maybe not even the US, and you are the person that's responsible for bringing these people here.
That is correct. So it is a long game, as everybody says. It is not a quick thing. There are companies I've been talking to for 2 years that still say they're interested. I'm just like, make a decision. But that's how it goes. We partner with the Lynchburg Regional Business Alliance as well. They're sort of the regional group. So how the leads work in that sense is, sometimes a prospect will call the state. They'll call Virginia, hey, or there's an RFP that goes out. Hey, what do you have? We need this or we need that. And usually they want buildings. They usually want buildings. Right now we have the Teva building. So that's a 400,000 square foot, formerly pharmaceutical building, which is a massive building. Teva, of course, left a few years ago. All the jobs kind of went with it. And we are trying to bring someone back for that. I do have about 3 prospects for that building right now. So, but some of them I've been talking to for a year.
Right. And part of that process, you're not just trying to sell the building or the site, but you're selling Bedford as a whole and the area as a whole, the people here, the environment here, the sense of community.
The schools.
Yeah, just everything that we have to offer here, that if a business was to pick up and move everything here, their people would be taken care of.
That's right. Yeah, that's key. So it's not just having the building, it's, do you have the water that we need? Do you have the power that we need? Do you have the workforce? Workforce is huge right now.
Right.
Some people that we're talking to, they need jobs I've never even heard of before. And, we were actually talking the other day, you've got all these little numbers that kind of classify different types of businesses and different types of jobs. And some of them were like, we need to do these codes again. The little NAICS codes, because these jobs didn't exist 10 years ago.
Right.
And some of them are just getting so specific, and, I need a quantum physicist. Well, we don't really have like a slew of those right here. So the other part of the job is really making sure, Liberty University is a huge employer, and they're generating thousands of students a year, right? And they're right in our backyard. So, and we're also close to Virginia Tech, close to UVA. So we use those schools as a kind of a hub. The other thing that we do 2 hours south of us is Research Triangle Park. So we can also use that. So when you look at sort of Bedford, there's this core, we're sort of the core around. None of it's right here, but we've got access to it, I guess is the point that I'm trying to make. So the other thing we do, we've got a partnership with CVCC, work with them just to make sure if the programs that the schools are offering can match the kind of jobs that are being demanded of these companies. And so, I mean, we've got some companies that are having to go to Michigan to get their employees because we don't have the robotics or whatever here.
Right.
Although I shouldn't, I mean, you know what I mean? It's just, there's some just very unique and special jobs. So
Right.
part of it is reaching out to the School of Engineering and say, hey, can you add whatever program, or what's your long game of this? These are the kind of industries that we have. Yeah, this area is the conveyor capital of America. So we've got more conveyor companies here than anywhere. It's kind of highly concentrated.
Mm-hmm.
And we also call ourselves the disc golf of Virginia. Disc golf capital of Virginia.
Right.
So you gotta look at the, it is sort of funny how the two kind of intersect, and which is what makes Bedford the perfect place to live and work.
Yeah, and just segueing right
There you
into
go,
your new
yeah.
brochure that you just made.
Yep.
Do you have these? If anybody wants to actually see this brochure, do you have some that people can come grab?
Yes, and as a matter of fact, you just reminded me, this is so new, I haven't even put it on the website yet. But we do have a new brochure. It's all about living and working in Bedford County, and it's an ideal place to call home. This really is a brochure geared toward, I mean, I can give it to a prospect, but I also the intention is, if an employer is talking to a prospective employee and they're want to know more about the area, what you want to know more about the schools, you want to know about the taxes, you want to know about broadband, you want to know about all these different things that sort of are important to people when they're moving here, and kind of what's there to do around here. It's just a very high level overview brochure. I do have them available. I didn't print a whole lot, but I can print more. I just wanted to kind of test the waters, but so far everybody loves them. So if anybody wants one of these, they can certainly reach out to me at the office. Our number is 540-587-5670, or go to the website. You can email me from there, and I'll be more than happy to drop some off. It just kind of gives a little overview of, demographics, the healthcare. It talks about our key industries and careers, from automation and robotics, furniture manufacturing, printing, precision optics, non-destructive testing, telecommunications, to highlight a few. It gives an overview of the different kind of housing that we have, whether it's new homes, golf course homes, or fun new lofts and industrial type of settings, with the new 620 that we have here in Bedford, and also the outdoor recreation that we offer, arts and culture, the different destinations that we have. A lot of people don't realize that Bedford County has four tourist destinations, just that are kind of larger. Most communities are lucky to have one, and we've got four, between the National D-Day Memorial, which is right here, Thomas Jefferson's Poplar Forest, Smith Mountain Lake, and the Appalachian Trail, which of course, and the Blue Ridge Parkway that runs all along there. So it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I love this brochure. I think it's really well done, and it's just kind of eye-catching, and there's a lot of information, but it's not overwhelming.
Right.
So
and I have smaller little 4x9 rack cards that you'll find at the Welcome Center and also at the Chamber.
So we had talked a little bit about you're talking about the codes of these specific jobs, and we want to make sure that we can teach people these specific jobs with the idea that they'll stay in the area.
Right.
So a big kind of push in the county, and the chamber is doing stuff too, and the school system, and that's CTE.
Yes.
And you guys put together a CTE video in the last several months. I feel like you have talked about it for so long, and then I finally got to watch it, and it was just awesome.
Yeah,
So
that was a great project. That was it was headed up by Holly Sheffel in my office, and Shelley Basinger. Shelley she wrote the whole script. The schools interviewed different students, and we've got one student to kind of be the sort of the MC of everything, and then we had a variety of students speak on camera about their experience, and then the school system spoke about how it works, and I think we've got 50 or 60 CTE programs in the county schools. Yeah, so And we try to align those with the industries that we've got. So,
Right.
and we're featuring really the Susie G. Gibson School for Science and Technology. And that is, it's hard to, unless you've been there, it's hard to express what the possibilities are
Right.
with that school and that program. So I encourage everybody to go watch the video. We do have a YouTube channel. So you can go find it out there, and maybe you can put a link out there too.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just a fun, energetic video that we did in one day. It was a 1 day take, and it took months to put together, but at the end of the day, we have it. It's about 4 minutes, so hopefully you have a little longer attention span. But it's hopefully it's engaging enough that people will watch it to the end.
Yeah, I thought it was a good video, and it lined up, your shooting day lined up with the CTE signing day
Right.
in the spring. So in the video, everyone came out from CTE signing day and stood in front of the school and chanted CTE. And
Yeah.
that's, a really cool drone shot that's in the
Right.
video. So it was just a really cool little spotlight that you could do just to
Yeah.
highlight what we have to offer in the county.
And the CTE signing day is something we started, gosh, it's been a few years ago. And then, of course, COVID happened. Nobody wants to talk about that anymore. At least I don't. And so now we've got hopefully it's on a roll. So it was a huge program last year. We had all the students come and sign, just like, everybody, sports is a big deal. Well, these are
Right.
kids that are coming out of high school with a certificate
Mm-hmm.
or a job. And that was a big, so they're signing with a job. So whether they're going to go on to finish their education and they got a certificate, or now I have a job at Wicked Diesel as a
Right.
certified mechanic or whatever, you can, or apprentice,
Mm-hmm.
you can work with that too. And speaking of apprenticeships, we do have a very awesome person with the Department of Labor and Industries here. Her name's Sherry Fulcher,
Mm-hmm.
and she is fantastic. So we really encourage people to learn more about the apprenticeship program and the registered apprenticeship program. She does laugh. She is from the government and she is there to help, but she's not. But if anybody needs her information, they can certainly reach out to us too. That's a fantastic way to get an employee to come on board
Mm-hmm.
and learn more about your program and get a little help from the state in the process.
Yeah. And, the CTE signing day, what really what I really enjoyed about it was, like you said, sports is a big thing. Academics, those are things that people seem to really care about a lot. So these kids that are going into trades, they might not always be celebrated in the way that someone who got straight A's and are going to a really awesome college, or somebody who's really good at sports. So I just really loved being able to watch these kids that just might not always be celebrated in the same way.
Oh yeah, and as I say in the video, 80% of the jobs in Bedford County don't require a 4-year degree.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you do need to have a certificate or
Right.
some kind of training. So that's where the programs that we have in our county schools really come into play.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of get them on the right path, and maybe you do go on to do more. You can go on to CVCC and be a welder or whatever, or if you want to go on to get your nursing degree, you can at least start off there and know. And part of that is just, what do I want to do?
Right.
And is this really what I think I want to do?
Right.
And you can test the waters a little bit through that before you kind of set on that pathway. But
Yeah, I think it's awesome, just the amount of things that are offered in the county and how it lines up with jobs that are right here. And, that's really the whole point of the CTE Expo that we're doing in October, is to show seventh grade students in the county, if you want to get this career, follow this career path at Susie Gibson, or at your base school, and you can end your high school career with a certificate and go to work right here in the area.
And then that's also, so part 2 of that is where the Bedford One program comes in. So that's where we take the kids through different industries and do different industry tours, usually for juniors and seniors. And that's a program that Holly leads up. And that has been highly successful. It's been around for more than a decade. And it's just a fantastic way to get kids and to realize what kind of jobs we do have here. Because I bet most people do not know. I mean, we've got 2 companies in Bedford County that SpaceX is one of they're a customer of SpaceX. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
And I think most people don't have any clue what is going on down the street in some of the industries that we have.
right. Yeah, I'm sure you're right about
Yeah.
that. Um, and then we are partnering. I know Foster met with Holly yesterday actually to talk about an upcoming workforce services business roundtable that's happening on August 24th. And we're going to partner with a couple different organizations for that as well.
Yes. We're partnering with Virginia Career Works
And DARS.
and DARS, yes. And so DARS is I think Tim is going to kind of give an overview of what all kind of services that they have through Virginia Career Works,
Mm-hmm.
and then which DARS is kind of falls in that same group. But I believe they're going to be speaking more about how to kind of integrate some folks that might have some kind of disability into the workforce. So it doesn't have to be off physically handicapped. It could be somebody who's on the autism spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna talk more about that, which I know nothing about, which is why he's coming to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that'll be a really cool event, and we'll get some more information out there. I think Foster and Holly were hammering out some details yesterday, so
Yes.
we will, I'm sure, all get the information out on our social media channels and things like that here in the next couple of weeks. But just a little save the date for August 24th for that Workforce Services Business Roundtable.
And that'll be at the Welcome Center.
Yes.
And if anybody wants to come, it's going to be at 8:30 a.m. at the Welcome Center. And I'm sure we'll be sending out, like she said, more information about that and just to kind of get a sense of how many people will be there. But they're always a great networking event as well. So I just encourage all businesses to come out.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else that you want to mention about economic development or the county or anything like that before we wrap up?
I'm trying to think anything off the top of my head. I think we've done a good job of covering it all. I'm sure I'll probably think of 10 other things as soon as I turn off the microphone.
Yes, I think we've gotten a really good recap of just, so many different things that you guys do and are a part of, but I feel like we've done a good job of hitting most of it. So if people are interested in the Economic Development Office, the EDA, anything like that, what's a good person to get in contact with?
Call me. Yes. My phone number is 540-587-5670, or reach out on our website, which is bedfordeconomicdevelopment.com.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It was good to have you back on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And if anyone has any questions about the chamber, give us a call. It's 540-586-9401. And our website is bedfordareachamber.com. And keep a lookout for the next Chamber Vibes podcast.